Well, good morning. What a beautiful day. Great to be in Sarasota. Great to see everybody. I know we have Representatives Nix and Robinson from this area, so I want to welcome them. We also have the Insurance Commissioner for the state of Florida, Mikey Jaworski, is here. And we've got some very interesting announcements today. So I think a lot of people have seen over the years, various things. I mean, we talk about groceries, we talk about all these things that have been more difficult, and this is going back really 4 or 5 years now. You've seen the run up, really the COVID, the spending, the printing of money, the supply chain, just all these other things contributed to a lot of different things. Well, one of the things that has been the most difficult nationwide has been increases in auto insurance premiums. Florida has had a kind of a difficult history of this over the years. Part of its demographics, part of its driving ability and problems on the roads, but part of it was the legal environment where Florida was really a litigation, was considered a litigation hellhole by a lot of folks, and that contributed to consumers having to bear more costs with respect to auto insurance. And so one of the things that we did recently was do major litigation reform in this state. The end of 2022, the beginning of 2023. A lot of people have been talking about doing this for like 20 years, but it's not easy to do. You got to get the legislature to do it, and all you got to do, you drive around the state of Florida, you get on the highways, and what do you see? You see signs for lawyers, right? And the lawyers want to bring lawsuits, and obviously the legal profession over many decades has transformed from a profession to a business. And so they're trying to make money off this stuff, and they obviously want to be able to bring more lawsuits. But we knew that Florida had a problem. I mean, just with homeowners insurance, the state represented 8% of claims nationwide, but accounted for 78% of litigation costs. Well, guess what? I mean, that's going to be something that policyholders are going to end up paying. It's basic economics. So we did this. They've been trying to do it for many, many years. And, sometimes people think, well, you do sign a bill into law like the next day. Well, where's the result? We said it's going to take time to kind of go through the system. And so if you look at what's happened with auto insurance, so in 2024, it was the #1 nationwide consumer staple in terms of inflation. Average increase in America was like 20% in 2024. We don't have the full numbers yet, but I would say in almost every state, you're seeing auto insurance go up. What's happening in Florida? For 2025, the top 5 auto writer insurance groups have averaged 6.5 reduction in rates. And that includes Allstate, 7% decrease, Liberty Mutual, 5%, State Farm, 4.7%. But honestly, a lot of them are filing more and likely to go down even more. So stay tuned for that. So 78% of our auto market are the top 5 companies. And they are seeing, reduction. And part of the reason they're able to do that is because you have seen a decline in litigation expenses almost really immediately from when the 22-23 reforms were put in. That means that they obviously are not having to expend as much on the administrative stuff. And so what ends up happening? Well, Florida, we have different regulations in these different, and so they're private companies, obviously they make decisions, but there is a regulatory framework. And we do have consumer protections in this, especially for people with auto insurance policies. So as they submit different rates, and they're entitled to do that as long as it's within the framework, they do look back at years prior to see if companies actually owe any of the policyholders anything. And so Commissioner Jaworski has been working with these companies because given all the money that's been saved with these reforms, now looking back even a couple years, consumers now have an ability or have even a right to be able to get some of these refunds. And so we're able to announce today that with thanks to Commissioner Jaworski, He has secured almost $1 billion in credits for Progressive auto insurance policyholders. And so the savings that we've seen because of the litigation reforms now means they are going to be giving you, and it depends on how long you've been with Progressive. You've been with Progressive this whole time, you're going to get a bigger rebate, and it might be a check, it might be a credit on your bill. But the average across Florida policyholders is going to be a $300 rebate, and that's just for Progressive. And so a commissioner is in negotiations with the other major auto insurers to do similar, and we think a lot of this is going to be very similar. We don't think that there's been a big difference amongst different carriers. So if you're in some of these other, State Farm, all these others, and don't forget the Progressive, this rebate of almost $1 billion, that's on top of, they just filed again, right, for more reduction. So they're 10, 15%, maybe even 20% down once this whole year goes on for their policyholders, and then you're going to end up getting almost $1 billion back with this. And so, and Progressive, they you know, these companies are highly regulated. They had to do an SEC filing, and it says, since Florida's insurance reform was enacted, we've seen lower loss costs on certain types of claims and favorable reserve deployment, and we have experienced strong in Florida personal auto business. And so people want to expand in Florida. It used to be you didn't want to be in Florida. Part of it's demographic, part of it's bad driving, but part of it was legal and litigation. And so you see that. So you're seeing a big decline in all of this with terms of, here's the thing. You would see litigation where the policyholder the dispute would be over like $50,000, and then the lawyer ends up getting like $350,000. Well, why would we want a system that encourages that? And so Florida has done a lot to do it. So I think we'll be, by the end of the year, you'll have the rest of the companies.
Probably, yeah, 1st of January.
By the 1st of January, you're going to have all these. But I don't think there's any reason to think these other companies are any different than Progressive. I think you're going to see, rebates. I think you're going to see maybe checks, however they decide to do it. And he wants to negotiate it. Now there is some regulatory. You can do like a club, but it's better to do carrot and like, let's just get this out the door for people rather than have to go through some type of protracted litigation. But I think a lot of the companies understand what's going on. So that's a big deal. That's going to be very helpful for folks. And I think that there's going to be more to come. And I think the trend is, because of what's happened with these litigation reforms, litigation expenses are down. That's why they're now filing even more rate reductions, because they see that and they're doing it. So, and it puts the consumer in a good spot, because if Progressive is down 15%, whatever, and you have a different, well, you could try to get, and then you go to there, go the other way. That's really puts the consumer, I think, in a much better spot than they have been in previous years. And I think that they're all going to be, basically, if they want to keep business.